For this demo, we have two televisions from the same manufacturer, so the look and feel of the image is the same. The television that's on the left is a standard dynamic range television, which is the same as televisions that have been produced from these flat panels for many years, including the new ultra high definition televisions. The television on the right, however, is a new high dynamic range video television, which means it is able to interpret the signal and recreate the image in its full glory in high dynamic range. And what we're doing here is that we're doing stop video in order to toggle the right display between standard dynamic range video and high dynamic range video so that you can see it compared to the standard dynamic range video that's being stable on the left. And as you can see in the image, the right image is more realistic in its nature. The image is just pop. Now, it looks better on a recording here that we're doing in standard dynamic range. So you can imagine how great it will look in person when you're really watching it on a high dynamic range display. Here again, as you can see the brighter whites, the more realistic reflections of shadows. You can see in the lights that they're more realistic lighting as if you're at the venue as opposed to watching it on television. We'll do a couple of more examples here, as we can see. And the format that we use here is known as Advanced HDR by Technicolor, which allows us, again, to use a single stream that can be interpreted by both standard dynamic range and high dynamic range televisions. So if the signal never goes black, you're always able to receive one of the signals. And as you can see on here, we've done a freeze frame. They're both standard dynamic range videos right now. And now, when that logo comes up in the upper right, that's the television recognizing that it has high dynamic range video. And the image is much more realistic with brighter highlights, darker details, and the midtones staying the same. Again, the point is to reproduce a more realistic image. And in this one last scene here, we'll do the same thing. This is inside a basketball arena at a halftime show. And again, you can see that the lighting in here just pops a lot better. And this is why high dynamic range is so exciting. The human visual system can actually respond to differences in contrast as if it was spatial resolution. So it looks like the image is a higher resolution, but actually it's not. It just has higher dynamic range. But again, in summary, higher dynamic range is not about having just brighter pitches, which would be like turning the brightness up on your TV. It's about keeping the midtones the same. So your facial complexion and normal lighting looks the same, but things with specular highlights like outside lighting or the sun, reflection of the sun off of car paint, or reflection of lighting in an arena off of objects is much brighter at the same time that things in the shadows are much darker. Again, it's all about having a more realistic image like you're being there. Thank you very much for watching.